Cutting height 6 to 7 centimeters. Deck width 100. Well, we can't afford that yet, but small area flower beds intricate. Well, in which case my front thing is probably going to be good for that to get into the corners. If you want to upgrade to a new mower but don't have a free bay, you can part exchange current mower. Yeah, I do like that that's a thing. Oh, it's just a little townhouse area? Wow, okay. Nice place, gotta say. It's a nice house. God, they give a huge amount of time for a ground check. I mean, it is a decent backyard, but it's not that huge. How long do you think it's going to take me to get around here? Also, are there any more valuables? I need to keep an eye out for those. Gonna sprint around and see if I can find any valuables to return to their owner. Oh, yep, here we go, some headphones. Wonder if there was one on the first map as well and I just didn't see it, even though I did go hunting around their backyard area. I also feel that, like, the ground check is now complete. The time is no longer ticking. It's like, I feel that I should still have only that amount of time even to find valuables and stuff. I don't know. But then it's also nice that they don't hurry you along to that extent. I don't know. Cut height of 7 should be fine, I believe. We're just going to do this front bit here first. Just going to do it in sections. The shape of the front of this one with the kind of corner bits, like the fact that it's angled, is actually really good. Like, this is a really good mower to start with, I reckon. So it lets you get into corners, it lets you get into like on good angles and stuff. It's going to be a bit messy doing this bit, but it's whatever. Like, what do you expect? It's a weird shape. Just trying to make sure I don't go over the flowers. Oop. Oh, I almost turned the wrong... I did turn the wrong way there. But, well, I guess we're going around this way again then. God damn stick. Bump, 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 over the cobblestones. I'm guessing if I'd left the blades on while driving over that, it would have damaged them. At least I would hope so. Oops, that'll be a collision. And just getting the steering directions a bit mixed up sometimes. It happens. Okay, so we can just... I'm just going to go around and do the whole edges, I guess. At least up until the pathway, anyway. Once we get to the path, we'll turn around. I feel like it's getting more stuttery as well. I don't know if it comes through on the stream, but it just feels like it's stuttering a bit more. I don't have the FPS up to track. Actually, I'm just going to cut this off here. I don't like turning down graphic settings if I don't have to. But if I have to. Okay, so I've already trimmed the edges on this one in the first place, which is nice. Let's just get a section of this as well. Why not? That was a deep bit, it seems. That lady wearing a pantsuit. Oh my god. Oh no, it's just the same coloured jeans. Don't mind me just gonna do a quick, fashion critique while we're here. I feel that someone in a lawn mowing job is gonna do that, because what else are you gonna do? The worst part of doing this sort of thing as a job would be, how do you occupy your mind? I mean, I think the same thing when I'm playing truck sim as well, right? If I was actually a truck driver and actually having to drive those distances in real time instead of condensed time, how would I occupy my brain? You've got to be a special kind of person to be able to actually do that and not just get distracted. And actually focus on what you're doing for that length of time. And it's the same with this, I think. I guess if you just kind of hyper-focus on it a bit, then it's fine. But at least I have, ostensibly I have people to talk to. I mean, I guess you just talk to yourself if you were doing something like this. Just talk to yourself, listen to some music, sing along because no one's going to hear you over the drone of the mower anyway. I know that's what I used to do when I used to mow my parents' lawns back in the day. Fire up the mower. I wouldn't actually have headphones on, I'd just have ear muffs on, but I'd just be singing along, well, not even singing along, but I'd just be singing out whatever my favourite songs were at the time. Just belting out some Linkin Park. Unfortunately, I cannot do that on stream. And you would not want me to do that on stream. Not mow too far into that, not give too much of a bottleneck. Just focus on doing the corners a bit. Then we're ending up with a tight turn here as well. Trying to be responsible and actually raising up our blades every now and then when we're doing tight turns, so we don't like dig in. Because I do kind of appreciate that they have that as an element in the game. Like, you do have to be careful that you don't turn too quickly, or you'll damage your blades, or you'll damage the ground. Things like that. I mean, I know it is kind of nitpicky, and maybe it should be an option to turn that sort of thing off if people don't want that, like, full realism. Kind of like the option to be able to turn off traffic fines in truck sim. It'd be kind of good if you could turn off the, like, collision and flower penalties and stuff in this, and just make it so that your jobs only reward you like 80% of the amount, but you don't get the feeling that you're being penalized. I don't know. That's kind of one thing that I feel in Power Wash Simulator would actually be kind of cool, is like a damage mechanic. Like if you full-on blast the windows, that it registers that you actually cracked a window or something, and you get docked a certain amount for that. I also wish they had it that if you like started cleaning things at the bottom and then cleaned something above it, that the thing underneath would get dirty again and you'd have to clean it again. That would be cool, just to encourage kind of better practices of like cleaning things top down. But it's a more arcade style game, whereas this is much more of a simulation style game. But I mean, if they're going to call it Power Wash Simulator, then... Now the other thing is that you only upgrade the handheld part of the unit. I guess that represents a larger thing, but it's actually the like backpack or the standing bit that determines the pressure and stuff, so you should be able to upgrade that and then just like change the pressure and have to use a lower pressure on certain elements or something, like wood uses a lower pressure, otherwise you damage the wood. Metal uses a higher pressure because you've got to be able to clean that off more adequately. I don't know. So I do like the idea, like in this you have to set the cutting height correctly, you do have to worry about the stress of the engine if you're going over a bit that's higher than the rest. You do have to worry about turning too fast and stuff. It is more of the simulation elements. I missed a little strip. It's pretty forgiving, but just sometimes you just miss a tiny little bit. Like I missed this entire corner last time, it seems. Okay, now I probably want to go around this way instead. Okay, now let's just finish off this bit down the bottom here. I forget what the time estimate was for this one, but 12 minutes and we're over halfway done. We were just at 69%, nice. There we go. That's tidied up that bit. Let's finish off this patch, and then we can go over the other side. We're making good progress, I think. trying to make sure that if I do a little reverse thing with the blade still down, that at least I turn kind of gradually. Otherwise, we'll just raise it up and want to turn. And then pop it back down again. Do the strip. Then we're just going to reverse over the strip here. Hopefully we get the right angles. Just a bit. Tidy it up. Okay. Other side. Almost there. Now I think we'll probably leave it at this for now. The game. And it's close to lunchtime. I'm hungry. And no one needs to watch me eat. At least when you're cutting it this height, if you do overcut in a turn, because I think this place was like 6 to 7, so we're cutting at the maximum. So if we turn a little bit too tightly and it dips down, then it's still going to be within the acceptable range. Hopefully. I mean, it probably would deviate a little bit more realistically, but I mean, that's kind of what the wheels on the side and the front are for, is to kind of keep it so it's even, so that it doesn't dip down much at a time. So you gotta trust that it's doing what it's supposed to. I miss kind of the edge here. It probably doesn't matter because it's pretty generous when it comes to finishing, but it's just easy to tidy it up now rather than later if it does matter. Kind of like when exploring things in truck sims, sometimes there's just those little bits of the road that maybe you'll come back to one day, but if you're worried about exploring, you kind of just want to tick them off when you get there in the first place, so you don't have to worry about coming back to some far-flung part of the continent. What I also kind of feel is that, or what would be interesting, is if they didn't warn you that you were cutting at the wrong height and that you could start and finish a job without setting the right height. Or like if it was too high, then obviously you'd have to go back and do the whole thing over again. See what happens if I do this. Yeah, so there's a little bit on the edges, but that's fine. But like, if you accidentally cut it too low, I mean, you can't come back from that, right? So you just end up with like a massive fine or penalty at the end. It warns you if you start to do that, but it'll be really cool if it would be interesting if it did. Go a bit closer after that. Yay. Ah, a little bit too far forward and hit a flower. See, I'm sure that I didn't actually hit it with the front corner there. But apparently, 99.4%. I seem to be missing a lot. It's just quite a lot around all the corners, it seems. The corners and the edges. Okay, oh well. Seems it's not white enough. Just kind of zip down the side here. I was being careful not to get too close to the pavers, but... So I don't want to damage the blades. This is where I think I'm sure I saw the blade condition just drop there as I was going over things. But now it's good enough apparently. Maybe it was already that low, I'm not sure. There's also that little bit there. Yeah, there's just quite a few, it's just all around the edges, and because it's a large area, the edges all add up to be like 0.5%. This is where you need to be able to use a line trimmer. Give us update, please. That's scheduled for next month, but come on guys, I can't... I find it hard to believe they didn't include that, just one model of line trimmer. Or just the idea that someone's already been around. Like, there's a few bits where it seems like that the... Why are you bouncing so much? Just... Okay. Come on, you got off the trailer. I want to get back on. There we go. Okay. It's just a little bell when you finish it. I feel there needs to be something a bit more... satisfying? You don't get the ding. That's the thing that's missing. You don't get a ding. You get a little chime right at the end, but there's no big feedback in the... It's almost like they need to actually section it up so that you have like front yard, front side, side, back instead. So that way you could do percentage by zone. And that way you'd know if you didn't quite finish it, which zone you needed to finish. I remember that it's like that in House Flipper. The bits where you're needing to clean up certain parts of a yard. I think it's in the gardening expansion or whatever, DLC. I feel similar things could apply here quite well. So that way it's sectioned to bits. 75p for collisions, 2 quid for flowers destroyed. Oh well. But no cleanup fee, no ground damage, no incorrect cut height. So we're doing all right in those areas. Okay, so... Can I part exchange up to this one yet? No. I'm gonna need a little bit more. Well, what was this? This is 2650. And this is 515. Okay, so if I was getting full price for it, but you don't. So 1126 is the amount that you part exchange for. So it's like half price basically, I guess. Okay, so I need another like 1300 quid or something probably. So I need to do another 3 jobs or something. Oh, it's the power washing gnome. The Jefferson Garden. Thought-provoking piece by the mysterious artist Nick Jefferson. It's a gnome. Small area flat, high fines. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see how we do on that one. I wonder if I should just get a cheap second mower and give contracts to Someone else? It actually says something on that, but I can't read it. I'll see if I can get close enough. Oh, it's a cloudy day. That's interesting. We get some different light conditions. That's nice. I want to read what it says. Gnome alone. I like it. We can't read any of the other information. That reflection's also kind of shit. Sorry guys. If you're not gonna do good reflections, don't try. Just have a water texture and don't have a reflection. Just make it so that the water is nice and clear and I can see right through, which I kind of can anyway, but don't bother with the surface reflection. Because it's not doing any favors if it's not done well. You just only end up detracting from the end result, which is not what you want. Scoping out for valuables as well. Alright, that's all of that done. It's a very modern house. It is nice. Is this the garage? That's cool. Ooh, nice car. But it's empty inside. Oh, this is the garage. Oh, damn. That's a nice Jag. That's boring. There's my van. Why is my van parked there and my trailer over here? I don't understand. Oh, the house is down there. I get it. Okay. I probably don't need to fill up. Yeah, we're over halfway. Change cut height. I believe it was between 5 and 6. On deck. And engage the blades, and there we go. Why does it look like I'm going through hyperspace? Jesus. I think that effect is just a little bit overblown. It's because I'm partly on the dirt, I think. But that effect is just a bit too much. Also, I'm no longer on the dirt and it's still doing it. That seems a bit over the top. So it just looks like I'm traveling through a dust cloud or going through Midwest hyperspace. Very strange. Some thick grass along here too. Trying to make sure that I actually get the edges properly. Since they haven't been done for me. At least there's no flower beds. Did that count as a collision because I hit the edge? I don't know, I heard like a thump. Like, what do you expect me to do? Okay, well hopefully that's the edge done adequately. We'll just drive up to the end and then we'll start going around more, so we'll give it a bit of a... I want to give it a bit more of a corner. Ow. Okay, I didn't realise that was going to hit. Oh, that's a terrible edge there. Well, hopefully it won't matter. Because there I was trying to avoid the hedge, and then the other side I just went over it anyway. I think everyone that I've seen playing this game ends up getting this mower. It just makes the most sense when you get started, I think. because you don't care about going too fast. Mulch deck means no cleanup. And the front of it just is the easiest to get into tight spaces. It's just a really good design, I think. And it's easy to turn. Around that bench is going to be a bit annoying. Yeah, there's so much on those sides to have to pick up on still. I'll just go back and do that now. So there's these bits here, for example. Get nice and close there. Disengage the blades for now, just to line this up. Oh yeah, so that counts as a solid object, it seems, that hedge. Whatever. As we were. Let's just keep on going. Here we're going to try and give ourselves a little bit more of a corner again. There we go. Other bit as well. Looks really scuffed when we do turn around like that. Oh, whatever. Yeah, I've had it flash up every now and then before, but you didn't need to give me a big in-your-face prompt. Yes, I know it was slightly overloaded, so what? I was about to feather the throttle. Leave me alone. It seems this one they are throwing in a lot more areas where it does overload it, so I do a bit more mindful of where that bar is at. It would be nice that, because it's the bit that's around the outside of the speed thing, it would be nice if it changed colour as it moved up. So like it started off white, turned orange when it got like halfway, and then started to get more red as you got close to the point that the motor will overload. So that way it would just be a bit more of an obvious visual indicator without having to just look down there all the damn time. Because that's kind of tedious, looking down there at every junction. I know it's what you kind of need to do, but... Or if the motor pitch actually changed significantly, because I feel that's what you'd normally rely on in real life, if you were doing this as a job. And you got to know things. Just backing over them again probably will help in terms of the grass and things. It's just that corner, it seems. But yeah, I feel that the motor pitch should change as it gets more strained. It does, but only when you actually go over. When you go over, it goes, ooh. But I should hear it start to get more strained as I get close to that point, so I can respond to it before it gets into the head zone. But instead it just gives very little warning. seems to be mostly in the corners that it's really bad. Oh. So we saw it creep up then. We kept on top of it. I guess that's why the time allowance for this is actually quite long, given that it's not a large area. Maybe because you actually have to go slow in a few places to avoid the overload. I don't know if the consequences on overloading are as bad for other mowers if you're not doing the mulch. Because that does obviously add a bit of an extra strain onto it. But then I'd have to pick up the clippings, so I don't know how you can do that. Maybe that's something to investigate sometime. Maybe I just buy one of the other mowers, like one of the side discharge ones instead of one with a catch or anything. Ow. Okay, I tried to stop that, but the throttle's a bit sticky it seems. It's annoying. Thought that I'd managed to stop that time, but it seems not. There's a nice line along here. Until my controller decides that it wants to turn the other way. I wonder if I can just test drive one of the others. Probably still can. But I don't know if the test drive makes you have to pick up your clippings. Whereas if you've got a side discharge, then surely you do have to go around and then pick things up. Or do people just not care? I mean, they shouldn't, really. But you have to come back with a strip up to that point. Just need to turn around at some point. I guess we'll just do it now. Why not? Really hard to judge, it seems. I bet they'll count that as a collision. You know, it's like a concrete bench and who gives a shit. Wrong way. Yeah, too far. Whatever. I really need to come in from the side for that. I don't want to bash things again. I guess maybe that's what I needed to do with the bench as well. We'll worry about that later. For now, let's just do another big straightaway. I guess here is where I can turn around. I think I want to just turn in there, actually. So I kind of want to turn down here. So that way I can go straight over here. Kind of. Definitely. Shoot along. That was far too much. Back over it again in case I left any clippings. Controller, please. Stop drifting. This is not Fast and the Furious 3. Drifting. I really need a new controller. I need a new controller or a steering wheel, one of the two. Preferably both. But definitely a new controller, because the controller is good for other games too. Try and finish off this edge, I guess. Just kind of doing not full throttle the whole time now, just to bear in mind that they'll be mindful of the grass length. Messy here, but it was awkward trying to go around those trees. Try not to turn like too tight corners either. Just it's not going to be the prettiest job, unfortunately. If you are going to stick random trees in the middle of your goddamn lawn, it's going to be difficult to work around them, alright? Like jumped, I think it every now and then just encounters a bit of the terrain and just kind of lurches sideways a bit. It's a bit disconcerting, but I guess kind of realistic. There we go. Just do the full top-down view if I need to. There we go. Blades up to come around again. Stop drifting. Yeah, it's decided not to go wandering for now. Please, thank you. here just kind of gets a bit stuck. It doesn't want to let me reverse. I think the throttle actually gets a bit stuck on, so it thinks I'm still trying to go forward, so it won't let me go back, but I'm not consciously pressing anything. I'm just going to go this way now. We'll finish that off later. This is a larger lawn than it seems at first glance, that's for sure. It's a small area, but it is, I guess, but it's a reasonable size. We'll see if I run out of gas. It's taken us almost 20 minutes to get to this point, and we're still not done. I can't remember what the target time was in this one, 25, 26 maybe? I'm just going to go here. Just trying to do some continuous lines for now. We'll worry about closing off sections later. There's another goddamn tree. One more pass over this probably, and none here. So there we go. Let's finish with that bit. Some random bits where our wheels have gone, it seems. It's kind of weird. We don't generally leave wheel tracks, so I don't know why those places are so special that they have them. No idea. Because it's not always places that I was turning. Who knows? Okay, that tree is going to be annoying, but never mind. Now we finished off that bit there. So now what we actually want to do is loop-de-loop around. And just go down the side here. This way. Let's go around that tree. I think we'll have enough gas there. Hopefully I don't get too many fines from hitting things randomly. No, not engaged. Oops. Did not hit X hard enough. Well, and the controls decide we're just going to keep looking that direction for some reason. Okay. Just gently go up there. Start raising the blades to do tighter turns here now. Oh, just a bit. Just a bit. There we go. I do think that it could look a little bit nicer once cut. Keep overturning when I reverse. Okay, that's that side done. And this side. I think I've taken a bit longer than I was supposed to. Not quite sure how to do it too much faster though. I know I've been a bit redundant in the way that I've done things, but not that bad. I really need a lawn trimmer. Let's do a little figure eight. Why not? Almost done now. Home stretch. One little bit to do there. One little bit to do there. Oh, apparently that's complete. No, it's not. That is not complete. I am not going to go back on the trailer with these bits still sitting here like a goddamn moustache on them. But it does show that it was probably going to be pretty generous when it came to the edges, by the edges and stuff. Yeah, I mean... yeah, there's still quite a lot there, actually. Oh well. That's that done. Hopefully we don't incur too many fines. I'm sure there'll be a few for collisions and whatnot, or whatever. These things happen. Get up on the trailer. Thank you. Ding dong, come in. What's the damage? 953 for collisions. Seriously? Like 10 quid for those? whatever. I debate that. Oh, weekly report. There we go. Weekly loss of 83 quid. That's not bad given that we bought the first vehicle. So we earned almost enough in that week to pay it back. So that's good.